The Wellbore Editor Overview. The Wellbore Editor is a store of Wellbore configurations to be used in pressure loss calculations. It consists of a physical wellbore, which is used for historical bottom hole pressure calculations, and hypothetical scenario wellbores, which are used with the Virtual tools and RTA wellhead forecasting. The Wellbore Editor is located in the Editors tab of an entity. This can be accessed by launching an entity. And then navigating to the Editors tab, and then the Wellbore Editor. The Wellbore Editor is made up of 4 distinct panes. The Wellbore pane shows the physical wellbore as well as any hypothetical wellbores available. The Configurations pane lists the available configurations for that wellbore. Each configuration consists of a profile, temperature, and deviation survey. The profile data is shown, which consists of casing, tubing, perforated intervals, as well as pressure loss calculation parameters. The temperature selection allows you to view the temperature information for that configuration. And the deviation survey is where a simplified deviation survey can be entered. The last pane is the schematic pane. This consists of a wellbore diagram showing some key information. Wellbore configuration data must be entered manually. The configuration date refers to the on-stream date of that particular configuration. It is assumed that for the initial configuration, this date refers to the first production date. You can rename any configuration and toggle the naming convention so that it displays. You need to enter the inner casing. First, select the casing type, enter the bottom depth, and either enter the inner diameter or select from a pre-populated table. The tubing data is entered in a similar manner. It is possible to have multiple tubing strings or casing strings. Simply enter the bottom depth of the next string and the rest of the information. The perforated interval is used to determine where the fluid enters the wellbore. You can enter a detailed perforated interval, or you can simplify to enter only the top and bottom depths. For the pressure loss calculation parameters, you must supply the flow path of the fluid and select the pressure loss correlation to be used. The datum is where the pressure will be calculated to. This is automatically generated from the midpoint of the perforations. This can manually be overwritten, but must be a value between the top and bottom depth of the perforated interval. A temperature profile is also required. This requires a wellhead temperature and a sand face temperature. This is generated from measured depth, so for a vertical well, you can use the linear profile, but for a deviated or horizontal wellbore, you will be required to use the detailed profile. Enter the surface temperature and at least the heel. the measured depth of the toe, and the same temperature, as it is assumed horizontal for this section. A deviation survey can also be entered. This is used to create a non-vertical wellbore. The easiest way is to copy the measured depth and TVD from your source information and paste that into the Harmony deviation survey. An additional configuration can be added with the plus button. You'll be required to put the on-stream date, you have the option to give the configuration a name, and you can copy an existing configuration, which is recommended, as you will not have to re-enter the deviation, temperature, and casing information. You do have the option to create a blank wellbore, which will allow you to enter all of this information from scratch.